So if you're climbing a mountain, are you excited for the uphill, the challenge, the growth, or the easy downward bit? The bit where we're cruising down the mountain and you can take your foot off the pedal and you can just ease into it. And I think this is the problem we have, that too often these days we are excited for when things get easy. Excited for when we get to ease off, when we don't have to put in as much effort, when we can just hit into cruise control and just take it nice and gentle, rather than getting excited for the mountain, the challenge, the uphill bit, the bit that's going to push us, the bit that's going to create the growth, that's going to create the change, that's going to push us into that next level, that's going to push us into the bit that's going to make us into the man that we want to be. And understand that that's a hard paradigm to have. It's human nature to shift into the easiest thing, to be attracted to the easiest and simplest format. But too often we're just settling in that constantly, choosing the easiest route, the simplest option. And that's when we get caught. That's when we get stuck in these ways. But we need to focus on the challenges in front of us. Focus on the challenges that are ahead of us and not shy away from them. Not be scared, not be unhappy, not get frustrated that we're in the midst or about to take on a challenge, but excited for it. Because that's where all the good stuff happens. When we take challenges on, head on, that's where the good things happen. Because if you never challenged, if you never pushed, if you never tested, nothing's going to change. If anything, you're actually just going to continually go backwards. Because as we've spoken about before, there is no stagnation. There is no consistent point. There is just progress or backwards. There is upwards momentum or there is dying. There is nothing in between. And therefore we need to actively choose to get excited by these challenges, actively choose to be pushed, actively choose to see who we can become through these challenges. And we should seek them out. It shouldn't be something that we shy away from because we're scared. And there was one I heard a long time ago, and it's one I've utilized in my own life ever since. And the difference between fear and excitement is one breath. And I just love that as a concept, that they are, even down to a biological level, very similar processes. There's, rise in cortisol, rise in adrenaline, rise in this fight or flight mode, all this kind of stuff. And fear is when we're paralyzed and we hold our breath and we're stuck in this moment and we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And we seize up and we get scared of the situation. Whereas excitement is we're breathing into it and you get amped up, and as you take that big, deep breath and you focus on it. Because they are very, very similar concepts. They are very, very similar. And I think we get lost in what's truly going on within ourselves. To be honest, I think most people are so out of touch with themselves that they have no idea what's going on in their world, regardless, in their mind and all that kind of stuff. But when we face these challenges and when we're in a moment that we're like, oh my God, how am I going to take this on? Stop for a moment and take that breath. Take that big, deep breath and flip the script on it and go, no, I'm not scared. I'm excited. I am amped up for this challenge that's come my way. I am amped up to see what this next challenge, this next mountain, this next whatever it might be, is going to bring for me. Because when you can look at it that way, everything shifts. When everything's an exciting challenge to be conquered, you're unstoppable. If you view problems and things like that as challenges to be solved and conquered, you don't have problems anymore. You have opportunities. You have opportunities for growth. And then on top of that, if you flip the script and make it exciting, not only do you have an opportunity for growth, you now have no stress attached to that. Because you're excited about the opportunity, you're excited to solve the problem, you're excited to take on this challenge and see what can be done. And we spoke about it the other day. All you can control is yourself. All that you are actually in control of is your thoughts, your actions, and your habits. That is it. So this is one of those actions and habits that you are in control of, that you need to build out. That you can redefine what is a challenge. You can redefine what is a problem and push them into something that is bigger and better, into an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. Because obstacles, challenges, mountains, whatever you wanted to call them, are going to happen. They are just a fundamental part of life. How we perceive them, how we interact with them, how we take them on, that is the separator. That is the difference between people who are crippled by stress and anxiety and depression and these issues that arise, and the people who face them head on, who tackle them and go, fuck yes. You know, there was a minister who was talking about it. And I thought this was another one, and I was just like, I loved this as a concept. And he's like, when things happen to you, instead of saying, why me? You say, why not me? Again, it's just that, it's that paradigm shift, and you're shifting that mentality, and you're shifting into a different place, in a different gear, and you tackle things differently. Why not me? Why not me to have this because I am strong enough to handle it? Why not me as an opportunity to grow from this situation? Why not me? Because why not you? Why not you to have this as an opportunity for growth? And when you flip it that way and you start viewing them, these challenges, as blessings and opportunities, or you could view it as a timeline split, depending on how you want to view the world. You could view this as, this isn't a negative thing, this is just a timeline split into a higher timeline, a more abundant timeline, a more successful timeline. There are many different ways that you can shift your paradigm around challenges and obstacles that are going to arise into a positive. You take it away from a negative and you make it a positive. As we've spoken about it before, that perception is reality, and how we choose to perceive our reality is our reality. So if we're constantly looking for the negative, looking for problems, looking for, oh, woe is me, why does this always happen to me? I'm over all this shit that happens to me, versus, goody, another fucking opportunity to grow, another opportunity to be blessed, another opportunity to test myself, another opportunity to see what I can do. Now that is an exciting way to look at it. Now that is an incredible way to view it. And can you imagine the level of optimism and the ability to be unfuckable with that you will have with that? When problems and issues arise, and instead of it being that woe is me, it's I'm excited for this challenge. And it always comes back to the fitness stuff. because you can use it and you can start training it on the smallest things. When you go for that weighted walk and you commit to that for at least 30 days, go find some hills. Go find some hills to climb, to, stairs to walk up, to, the bigger the hill, the better. And start conditioning your mind when you see that hill, when you stand at the bottom and you go, yes, look at this. Here is an opportunity to test myself. Here is an opportunity to push myself and see what I am truly capable of. It's not a negative. It's not a problem. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you. And you can start building that muscle. That's why I always say that fitness is the baseline. It teaches you these skills. That's why we start with it, because all of this stuff comes from here. It comes from doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, go on that weighted walk and be excited for that opportunity to take on that hill, to take on those sets of stairs. When you're fatiguing out and you feel that challenge coming, don't look for the easy way, look for the harder way, and embrace that moment, embrace that challenge. That's what we are looking for. That is what we are after. And that's how you start training it. And then you start remembering it in other areas. When other things arise, you start saying to yourself, yes, another opportunity for growth, another opportunity, another blessing. This is what we are looking for. So much of our life is dictated by our paradigm and our perception of our paradigm. But we are in control of that, as I said to you. We are the ones in control of our thoughts, our actions, and our habits. These are the only things that we can control. Start taking control of your thoughts. Start shifting how you view the world. Start shifting the paradigm that is involved around these things, because it's gonna keep coming. There is always going to be stresses. There are always going to be setbacks. There are always going to be problems. But when you change how you view that, you change how you respond to it, and then you change how you interact with it, and you change how it affects you. And the list goes on, and suddenly we're living in a world where everything is always getting better. That we are making constant progress, where we're excited by opportunities that used to be setbacks, that used to, send us into spirals. We're excited by them, and we get to take them on head on. That makes you show up as a different man. That also makes you the man that people want to call on, because, to quote Tim Grover, you become a cleaner. You're the guy they call when nobody else can figure it out. You're the guy they call on when shit hits the fan, because you're the guy who gets it sorted. You're the guy who fixes it all. That's who you want to be. And it starts with these simple things. It starts with viewing those issues as they arrive, not as issues, but as blessings, as challenges. It comes from taking a deep breath and facing it head on. It comes from these choices. And when we talk about change and we talk about becoming the best version of yourself, I can give you all the tools and the tactics. I can give you all of the templates of the things that we utilize to become the best version of yourself. And the two parts that I can't control and that are down to you, that will also dictate what happens next, is what actions you take and what thoughts you create around them. So if you start shifting your thoughts to a better perspective, if you start shifting your perception of the world, of the tasks that you're given, of everything that you take on, if you start shifting your view this way, what do you think is going to happen? They talk about, even down to studies, that optimists live longer than pessimists. And it's just because they take on less stress. They don't take on the worst case scenario. They expect everything to work out for them. And if you shift your view around these kinds of things and start viewing your challenges and your timeline shifts and all that kind of stuff as a positive thing, as I said, as blessings, as opportunities, as splits into a higher timeline, to a more abundant, blessed timeline, if you view them in this way, everything's a blessing. Everything's good for you. There is only upside in every situation. Don't you think that leads to a happier person? Don't you think that leads to a less stressed out life? Don't you think that leads to just better in all areas? And also then improves your ability to conquer those things as they arise. Because if you view it as the worst thing that's ever happened to you, well, it's gonna be. If you constantly talk about it as being the worst thing that ever happened to you, it's gonna be. But if you view it as an opportunity, an incredible opportunity to take on the world and do something great for yourself and grow and get better from this, then that's exactly what it is. Your perception dictates your reality. So let's stop looking for the easiest way out. Let's stop looking for simple and non-effective and hiding from the issues and constantly whinging that shit hit the fan, and start viewing it as, what an incredible opportunity I have to do something great, to do something better, to be the best version of myself. That's a pretty exciting way to view it, in my mind. So, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, standard platitudes. If you enjoyed it, if you took value from it, if there was something of note in this, please like, comment, subscribe. Help me grow this movement. Send it to someone who needs to hear this, who needs a paradigm shift, and they need to start working on themselves. Please help me spread this word. Next, if you are ready to take the next step and you want to see what you're capable of, please click the link in my bio, join the Daily Greatness Mail, and grab my top 10 tools to master mental toughness. And lastly, if you are ready to burn the motherfucking boats, to see who you can be when you cut away all of the trivial and unimportant and just focus on the things that are going to make you the best man you can be, then message me directly and let's see who you can be on the other side. Until then.